This is the Inferno72 by Sharpeye, and obviously this is not my surfboard. This is Kanoa Igarashi's. This model was made so popular by Taj, deeming it the winner of the most recent Stab in the Dark.
Is this one 72? Sharpeye, get out of it! Congratulations, that's my pick of the bunch.
And it certainly looked electric under his feet. What I was riding has actually ended up in the United States under Mr. Jack Robinson's feet. After a fun session at Snapper one day, I offered to give Jack a turn, to which he put on an absolute clinic, and he loved it so much that he took it with him to the wave pool. But I guess the purpose of this Joyride was to see if it still worked under the feet of a 30-year-old dad bod surf coach from the Gold Coast. I tested the board earlier that morning over at South Stradbroke Island, and even with a bigger set of fins in it than what I'd been riding the whole time, it held in okay, but still not as much as what I was looking for. So I can safely say that in that head high plus range, board's definitely not made for those conditions, but that's no surprises there. We do know that it was made to be a groveler. I was just a little curious to test its limits and see if it would hold in. I was fortunate enough to test mine all over the country. Started in Newcastle, ended up in West Oz, and finished back here on the Gold Coast. I'm going to run a set of fins out of the Legacy series from Futures. This is the neutral. It's the pretty good all-round fin, and it's pretty forgiving. The conditions today are that quintessential Australian beach break, and it looks pretty fun and perfect for what this board was built for. I was so excited to ride this board, and as the first set came in and I paddled my ass off to try and catch it, I just missed the first wave I went for, which was a little, I was a bit devoed after that. I had to sort of reset after being really excited to catch waves. But then once I got a few and got the feet in the wax, as they say, it felt really good. I think the favourite characteristic for me so far is how it feels under my front foot. Like whenever I want speed, it's there, and if I want to change direction and go up and down, I can do that as well. Really easy. I just feel really connected from like my front foot, all the way through. I just stuck with the Futures neutral the whole time out of the Legacy series. That it's pretty perfect for these conditions. a little just in the medium. It sort of suits my size. I was trying really hard to focus on a good frontside wrap. Obviously, Kanoa and Philippe have been riding this board a lot when it's small, and that's something that they're, the trademark of their surfing is, as well as being radical, is that they have a really good frontside carve. Their frontside carving on all their Sharpeyes is so good, and I really feel like this board, if I try a bit harder and maybe fix up a few technical issues, hopefully I can rip off a big frontside carve like they do. Change coastlines. It's definitely the right size for it today, but even in the west, the power in the wave's still a little bit stronger than the east coast. I think that's pretty obvious when you get here. A 3-footer on the head in the west feels a lot gnarlier than a 3-footer on the head on the east. Over on the east coast, I was using the neutral set out of the Legacy series, but I think over here you don't really have to generate your own speed as much. The wave gives you that push, so I'm going to use the rake set today and hopefully use a bit more of that control. Surfing's a funny thing where you can do something that feels really good and then you watch the footage and it looks like crap. But today I definitely felt like this board had way more drive than what it did previously, and I would attribute that to the fins. I think that getting the rake set in this board kind of balanced out the aspects of this board that are suited to the smaller wave stuff, being a bit wider through the tail and a bit wider under my chest. But then with this set of fins in, it kind of helped the performance in the steeper sections really well. Overall, in the conditions that this board was built for, I absolutely loved it. It had so much speed when I wanted it. I felt really connected, and there wasn't, any time where I thought that it was going to do something that I didn't want it to do, which sometimes you can get that when you stand up on a surfboard. You quite often think sometimes surfboards have a mind of their own, but not in this case. I felt so locked in, and it was an absolute pleasure to ride. It's at this point in the review where if I like a board, I usually say that I'm going to keep it. Unfortunately, I can't say that. I can't keep this board. It's not mine. And my board's on the other side of the world, and I don't expect to see that back anytime soon. So maybe if I'm lucky enough, I'll be able to slip in another order and get another one under my feet, hopefully pretty soon.